It is the final match day of the season. After today, obviously the cup final next Saturday, but after that, what do we do with ourselves? You know what? No Saturday football, no Sunday football, no Thursday football, no Tuesday football, no Wednesday football, no Monday night football. I think I've covered all the days that football usually takes place. I think, possibly, maybe, I don't know. Unless Sky have invented a new day, you never know. Sky do control football. They might invent a new day. There might be an 8th day of the week next season. Who knows? You know what Sky are like. Anyway, welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. Welcome to the channel, guys. Please obviously subscribe to the channel. My name is Owen James. This is a channel that obviously brings you daily free Rangers news and opinion videos. We bring you podcasts, we bring you live streams, all for absolutely nothing. Well, today, Rangers take on Hearts at Tynecastle. Yes, the league is over. Yes, the league is done. And theoretically, obviously, today is really a dead rubber. But it isn't in essentially two elements. Number one, let's face it, whenever Rangers play, it matters. Of course it matters. We have to win every game. Most teams are out to get us. Hearts will be looking to finish the season on a high after what has been a very good season for Hearts this year. I mean, all credit, I don't like the guy, but all credit to Stephen Naismith, obviously all credit to the PFA Scotland Player of the Year, and Lawrence Shankland. Let's hope that next season he is wearing blue. I'm playing for Rangers, obviously, not wearing blue and playing for someone else. But yeah, we hope that obviously the Shankland's with us next season. I think had we signed him in January, we would be lifting the league title today, and not that lot from across our city. Guys, I'm not going to keep referring to them to that lot. You know what? I don't like them. I don't want to like them. I've got no respect for them, and I don't watch their podcasts. I don't watch Celtic podcasts. I would never, ever appear on a Celtic podcast. So, end of the day, you know what? I'm going to call them that lot. So, look, it is a game today where we've got really a chance to put in a bit of a dress rehearsal, put in a bit of a practice for the cup final. Yes, I know it's not really the same because obviously Hearts are not anywhere near in the same class as that lot from across the city. They are nowhere near as good as them. Obviously, they don't have a McGregor, they don't have a Hatate, they don't have a Riley. But it's still an opportunity for our players to go out there and prove that they deserve a place in the cup final, prove that they deserve the chance to play for us at Hampden Park and win a final. That's should be every single Rangers player's dream. And now, I know Philippe Clement yesterday talked in his press conference about the end of a cycle, the end of an era, in fact, and the fact that Rangers need to rebuild, the fact that Rangers need to have new foundations to this club. And if you want to know a bit more about that, go back and watch the video from yesterday that we put out here on the channel. But today is about those players that get the chance to play, grasping that opportunity and showing Philippe Clement that they should be the ones wearing those 11 blue jerseys, running out at Hampden Park against that lot and winning a cup double, making sure that they do not, under any circumstances, draw level with us in the number of trophies won. Yes, that is what is riding on next week. If they win the Scottish Cup next weekend, then they will be level with us on the amount of trophies won. And then I dare say we will never, ever hear the end of it. So in terms of tomorrow's game, let's deal with a few generals, and then we'll get into some specifics talking about the game tomorrow, including Philippe Clement giving a timely fitness boost. Yes, that's right, a fitness boost about a player ahead of the game tomorrow and the game next weekend. I mean, I almost fell off my chair and almost died with shock, hearing that there was some good news. I mean, there was a lot of bad news still, don't get me wrong. It was still like an episode of Grey's Anatomy, ER, Casualty, or any other medical drama you care to remember or imagine, or Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. Those of you remember that really irrelevant, weird Indian thingy, Native American Indian thingy from the 80s or 90s or whenever it was on with Jane Seymour, I think it was. Very weird. Anyway, let's get back on the topic. So let's focus on this, some generals. So, like I said, fainted. You may also faint when you hear there is some good news. But let's deal with some generals. Okay, so overall, Rangers' record against Hearts is a very positive one. Now, there was a kind of we have a misconception that we struggled against them away from home at Tynecastle, and it was always a difficult place to go. But, this record suggests otherwise. Our record against them is up there with the very best records we've got against teams in Scotland. 103 games Rangers have played against Hearts. We've won 73 of them, drawn 15, and lost only 15 of them. Only 30 of our games have not ended in a victory for Rangers. We've got a win percentage of 70.9% against Hearts. That's an excellent record. Certainly something we'll be looking to continue tomorrow. And, we have got a bit of an Indian sign over them just recently. This season we've been absolutely fantastic against them at times. The 5-0 drubbing of them at Ibrox, the decent performance in the Cup semi-final, particularly by the likes of Todd Cantwell, for example, and Tyrrell Dessers to take us to the Scottish Cup final. Even though the performances away at Tynecastle at times have been very good this season. And look, Hearts will be bang up for it. They'll be looking to, perhaps go back to that performance at Ibrox where they were perhaps a little bit unlucky to lose 2-1 with that penalty and that late Danilo header to win the game for us. Look, it is going to be difficult to some degree. They will be bang up for this. They'll want to finish on their high. This is their final home game at Tynecastle, their final chance to impress. They've had a very good season. They won't want to go out with a loss. They'll want to put a show for their fans to finish the season off in the best form. And this could be the last time that Hearts fans, please God, see Lawrence Shankland wearing a maroon jersey. And the next time they see him, he's back at Tynecastle in a blue jersey. That would be very good indeed. Let's look at some of the past results against them. Let's have a quick look. So this season, obviously tomorrow's game is a 12:30 kickoff. All games are a 12:30 kickoff. Semi-final, that was a 2-0 victory for us this season. There was a 5-0 at Ibrox, and that probably one of the best performances of the season. Absolutely fantastic football, aggressive, quick football. What happened after that? Where did that go? How did that just suddenly disappear? And then we put on a Motherwell type display. I don't know how that happened. Before that, there was a 1-0 away victory at Tynecastle, a 3-1 away victory at Hampden Park, in the semi-finals of the League Cup. Prior to that, there was a 2-1 at Ibrox. So, all positive this season, all victories against them. You go back beyond that, those games. There was a 2-2 draw in 22-23. There was a 3-0 away victory for Rangers, a 1-0 at home, in a 4-0, 2-0 in the SFA Cup final. That cup final victory, fantastic cup final victory. If you remember back to then, you've got to go back a hell of a long way to get Hearts' last victory over Rangers. I think it's 2017, 2016, some point like that. I can't remember off the top of my head when it is, but it is a long, long time ago. And it's certainly something that we don't hope it obviously gets overturned tomorrow, that we continue that excellent run against them. As Philippe Clement says, though, these records mean absolutely jack all, because let's face it, Ross County hadn't beaten Rangers up until this season. Let's not mention that again, actually. I mean, that's a bad thing to mention. Now, let's get to some positives. Should we get some positives? Now, you know what? You know me. I always speak honestly. I speak openly. I speak my mind about this team. Despite what certain people may say on other channels about me, that I don't speak my mind, that I'm whatever. Well, you know what? Okay, so right, let's get this clear. Look, I criticise players. I've criticised Tav this year. I've criticised Goldson this year. I've criticised Lunny this year. I've criticised a number of players this year for their poor performances. And whenever a player does not perform, I will criticise them, because it is a privilege to wear that jersey. It is a privilege to play for this club. So what's Clement said about these players? The positive things about players. So this is positive news. Seaman will be back in selection to play some minutes. Very little as his first step back. Ryan Jack is also the same. Leon Balogun is a question mark for tomorrow, but is close to returning. Suter, Goldson, Barisic, Lawrence, Cortez, Matondo, and Danilo are missing from training with injury. Now, we're not surprised about the last bit of that information there. We know they're missing. We'll get to those in a minute. But the massive positive, the huge positive for me is, yes, he may have a slightly checkered injury history. Yes, he may have a slightly dodgy injury history, and he may have missed a number of games this season with injuries. But Abda being back is a huge lift for this team. Abda has been one of the best players this season. 16 goals for the club. He has been absolutely excellent. And the fact that he is back, and available for selection, especially ahead of the cup final, is a huge boost. I mean, you've only got to look, how when he came on against them at Ibrox, he was excellent. He really did make a huge difference. And had we had him at Parkhead, I think, again, it would have made a massive difference. He's direct, he's quick, he knows where the goal is. Now, I don't imagine for a moment that Philippe Clement will start him. Looking at what he said here, I don't even imagine it for a minute he would, play him for any longer than 20 minutes, half an hour maximum tomorrow. Now he may, you know what, you leave everything out on the pitch. You last game of the season, he could start in the cup final. You know what? It's the last game, that one. It's the massive one. Clement knows he has to win that, or he's going to be under a boatload of pressure. But obviously, we'll look ahead more to that next week. But Seema being back is massive, is huge. This guy, no matter what I've said about him, or we may say about his injury history and whether we should pay the money for him, as it looks like Rangers are, really pushing to actually bring him in, from what I'm hearing, for around about £5-6 million. Seema is a class act. He really is. And I think having him back is an absolutely huge boost. Now, Ryan Jack being back as well. Again, Ryan is not going to start, but having someone like Ryan Jack to bring on off the bench, and work with some of these younger players who are currently in the squad because of the injury situation is huge. He is one player I would say that, from the old guard, and you look at some of our old guard, Tav, Goldson, Lunny, Barisic, all for me, past their sell-by date, past their best, bottle merchants, a lot of them. Jack is certainly not someone you could accuse of being a bottle merchant or a loser or anything like that. Jack is someone who, I love Ryan Jack, don't get me wrong, and I think if Ryan Jack could just stay fit, he would be a first name on the team sheet. I mean, he makes players look better, playing in midfield. He is that real designated smasher, destroyer, and his distribution is very good as well. So having Ryan back is a massive lift. I think he's someone who, in the cup final, and we shouldn't be looking that far ahead yet. We should be focusing on today's game, but could make a huge difference. Balogun, I don't think will be involved tomorrow, and I think it would be very unfair on Leon King to drop him, and we'll get to that team selection shortly. As for the players that are out, Suter, I think, is a loss. Suter's had a very good season. I know he's got a mistake in him, but he has been one of our best defenders this season. Goldson, no great loss there. Barisic, how is Barisic injured? I mean, genuinely, how does he get injured considering he's done absolutely nothing? I don't understand really how I think that's more he's leaving. He doesn't want to play anymore or risk his signing bonus with his new team. Lawrence been out. I don't think is a huge loss. I haven't been impressed with him. Yes, he scored that fantastic goal for Ibrox, against Killy. But at the end of the day, he has not been good. And that Old Firm performance, another poor performance. And he lost the mental battle to Callum McGregor. He surrendered to him. And, look, Canwell for me has to start tomorrow. Cortez been out is a huge loss. I think if we'd had Cortez and Seema for most of the season, I think we'd have walked the league. I really genuinely do. Matondo been out again, does impact the bench. I think Matondo is a very good impact player from the bench. Not a starter for me, but a good impact sub. And Danilo obviously has been out for a long time. And again, I think had we had Danilo for the whole season, I think that would have made a huge difference. I think he's a lot better player than Cyril Dessers. So, as in terms of our team for tomorrow, I think, we've got to have some of the young lads on the bench. I think Cole McKinnon needs to be on the bench. I think he needs to come on and get some minutes tomorrow. Alex Lowry on the bench needs to come on and get some minutes tomorrow. I'd love to see some of the other youngsters on the bench, like Archie Stevens, like Ishaka Thompson, people like that coming on and getting some minutes tomorrow. But for me, it is still, I think, important that we play a very strong team, that we don't just fill it with youngsters. We give, the first team players that we do have the opportunity to keep their match sharpness, match fitness, and give them perhaps 50 minutes and an hour, then take off a number of them with substitutions. But for me, it's important to keep that match sharpness, that match togetherness, to the molding together, particularly in the midfield pairing. So let's talk a little bit through that. This is my team for today's game. So obviously Jack Butland in goal, picks himself. I know some people talk about putting Robbie in there, but I just think you've got to go with your best. You've got to go with your best. Back four, look, no matter what you think, and I would love to drop him, but they're not going to drop him. Tav will play it right back. Leon King and Ben Davis, I think, started centre half. Look, realistically, yes, if Balogun was fit, I'd put him in there because he's probably been our best defender this season alongside John Suter. But Leon King, I think, yes, he had a little bit of a dodgy moment for that first Dundee goal the other night, but I think it would be very unfair to drop Leon King. I thought he did well other than that. He had a decent, solid performance, and we need to see these youngsters and see how good they are. And are they players who have a future, who could perhaps help us save some money? Are they players who, as Philippe Clement says, will build us foundations at this club? Ben Davis, obviously, on the left side. I'd like to see Robbie Fraser given an hour. Now, I'm not saying drop Ridvan because I think Ridvan is very important for the Celtic game, but I'm saying perhaps wrap him in cotton wool and protect him a little bit. Give him the last half an hour still to maintain his match sharpness. But I would start with Robbie Fraser, give him 60 minutes, then take him off, bring Ridvan on to get him sharp for the final. But Robbie was great. Robbie played really, really well. And I've been a massive advocate of Robbie Fraser's, over a number of videos. Go back and check them out. And I think Robbie, like I said, was excellent against Dundee when he came on. He was direct, he was quick. And I didn't see a massive drop off in standards on that left-hand side when Robbie came on. So I would go with Robbie at left back. I think it's really important that Diomande and Raskin play together for a couple of reasons. One, I thought Raskin did well on against Dundee. I thought he was decent. No, not amazing, decent. He is coming back from injury. And if that's going to be our centre midfield pairing going forward, if that they're going to be centre midfielders that, Pops could save us a lot. I mean, I know we've got to pay for Diomande still, but could save us some money in this summer. We've got to see, can they work together? Give them a chance to build a bond, build a partnership, get used to playing with each other. Because let's face it, none of us want to see John Lundstrom in the final. And if we do, I think Clement is making a huge rod for his own back. Ross McCausland, I thought, had a decent game on Tuesday night against Dundee. Again, I would give Ross McCausland a game on the right side. Todd, for me, has to start. I mean, Todd, I think, gets an unfair slagging from a lot of our fans. I mean, you look at his actual stats. He won 80% of his tackles the other night. Yeah, apparently he doesn't try. He doesn't get stuck in enough. You look across his whole tackle percentage, his tackle percentage, win percentage in the league this season is high. His chance creation is good. His goals to games ratio. Okay, he could score a few more goals, but I think it's 15 goal contributions this season. He has not had as bad a season as some people make him out to have had. I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism, Todd Cantwell. I really do. Yes, at times he has let us down and not shown up in big games. Some of that may be due to how he's been used, how he's been played. But I think Todd is a big future at this club, and he is a player that we need to keep hold of, and we need to, in effect, along with Dujon Sterling and Jack Butland, build a team around these guys, these top guys like Raskin, like Cantwell, like Butland, like Sterling. Silva will start on the left because realistically there is no one else at this moment in time, with obviously Seema just coming back from injury, with Cortez out. You've got to perhaps go with Silva. And I thought Silva didn't play too badly the other night. Dessers will start up front because there is literally no one else. And it seems that Kemar Roof has disappeared. Okay, guys, let me know what you think of that starting 11. Let me know what your starting 11s are down below. Guys, as always, it has been a pleasure speaking to you here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. Let's go for prediction today. I'm going to go for 3-1 Rangers today, 3-1 victory. First goal is going to come from Todd Cantwell. Lawrence Shankland will get their goal today. I think it's sort of written in the stars, but I'm going for 3-1. It is going to be what it is, guys. This team, this is their team last time out of the Hearts. I think played Dundee. Last time they put a fairly strong team out. And obviously, I know that Banningham, or whatever he's called, he signed a new contract this week. They've got some decent enough players there. Obviously, Lawrence Shankland been the main one. But look, it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. They're going to be bang up for it. But look, this team needs to go out there, carry on with that second half performance. And I know it was only Dundee, but you can only beat what's in front of you. Improve at some levels in some areas, start quickly and play for 90 minutes. And even when the changes come, keep on playing. Don't use it as an excuse. It's disruption. You slow down, the performance drops off because you made changes. Use that fresh legs as an impetus to keep on pushing, keep on going forward. We've got to see a 90-minute performance. We've got to see a complete performance, a dress rehearsal, a practice, a game practice for next week's game, which is all important in my eyes. Let me know what you think as in terms of that, and let me know what you think in terms of your score predictions for today's game. Guys, it's the final matchday league news for a season. What are we going to do with ourselves? I don't know. Get back to speaking to our families and our friends? Nah. We'll still concentrate on Rangers. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. 2 things on the way out. Number 1, smash the like. And number 2, remember always, we are the people.